Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Monga. Well, Barca is back to out of the Champions League and back into Europa for the second time back-to-back seasons from back-to-back seasons. It's a curse now. Barcelona cannot progress to the group outside the group stage. It seems it's ended 3-0 at the Camp Nou with Barcelona. Yeah, kind of pretty vehemently and got pretty well beaten by a very strong and clinical Bayern Munich. It's just sad to kind of talk about this in a way because, of course, it was already out like before this match even started with when of course Inter Milan scored 4 against in the game that they had again against Plzen. So that was kind of that was already the match was already decided in a way. But Barcelona could have kind of held back or kind of showed some level of resistance to this game, and could definitely have tried to play try to show their steel in a way. But it was a pretty easy win with goals by Choupo-Moting, Mane, and Pavard in the last minute. Robert Lewandowski just can't score against his former club. He kind of was like trying his level best. He was almost over trying. You could see that he was just trying to do everything by himself. Without kind of taking the help from the other players, and that obviously itself is costly, and it's hard against Bayern Munich because Bayern is very strong defensively. They'll cut down those gaps, and it's very hard to break them down. But Barcelona were able to kind of break them down a couple of times, but a lot of sloppy passes in the end, not kind of finding the right target, and also not able to kind of a lot of communication as well. Xavi could play. He did, I think, play his best. Dembele, Lewandowski, and Pedri starting at the front. Kessie, Busquets, and De Jong. Bellerin, Koundé, Alonso, and Balde, along with Ter Stegen and goal. But I feel what I felt was Bellerin was kind of the weak link on the left. And that's where the crosses were coming in, and for the first goal as well for the first goal as well. But they had to kind of have the attacking intent in a way. Barcelona losing 3-0. But then to talk about Bayern, they had Choupo-Moting, who's found his form back in. He's starting and playing really well with Mane and Musiala and Gnabry. With Sane's injury, that was kind of the big thing. Like with Sane out, like how will they play? Will they be able to kind of hold Barcelona or have an attacking threat? But then, of course, they split perfectly with Goretzka and Kimmich in the middle. Davies, De Ligt, Upamecano, and Mozrol, and Ulrich kind of playing from the back, and the goalkeeper. Was pretty impressed, I think, by De Ligt. He was also called the player of the match. He basically kind of bullied Lewandowski a lot, and there was a penalty shot in the first half as well before the first half, but then it was overturned by the VAR because it almost looked like Lewandowski wanted that card to come out, and also the penalty. But where does where does Barcelona go from here? Like they've almost lost their mojo again. It's always like they are bringing something back in, but then they lose something, and then the streak kind of ends, or like their momentum kind of stops, and it literally stops in the tracks. It's not like they just take time. They just can't recover. Xavi just kind of catch a break in a way, but yeah, it's something that needs to be thought of. Of course, now they will look to kind of play in Europa and also think about they need to win something. They need to win something big. Of course, Champions League was one of the things, like with all the players that they had, with Kunde, Lewandowski, Raphinha, Torres in January, Memphis Depay coming, and also the fact Kessie coming in, and but the main story about like this might kind of, it hurts, like, but then I'm just being critical here in a way. Frankie de Jong not going to Manchester United by saying that he wanted to play in the Champions League, but then here he is going back to where Manchester United are playing. The Manchester United is playing in the Europa League. And this goes back to show the desire, but then not the team not having enough kind of firepower to kind of actually sustain this level of football in the Champions League that's required for them to kind of play and stay there. But hoping that Barcelona will be able to kind of bounce back in the Europa League. They play it after December for the World Cup now. They get some good rest, but then obviously now winning the La Liga and also trying to kind of progress in Europa and trying to win that might be one of those big things that Barcelona might try to achieve this season, of course, because, well, it's been a season of a little unknowns for them, but Champions League, and they need to kind of bounce back and win something big so that the team gets confidence and is able to kind of survive another kind of maybe a financial fair play onslaught, which might be coming their way in the next season or transfer windows. So very interesting to see how this goes. Bayern Munich are top of the table in Group C. They play Inter Milan next. Yeah, they play Inter. Yeah, and Barcelona plays, I think, Plzen, if I'm not wrong, or Barcelona play Inter and Bayern play Plzen, but then it's currently Bayern with 15 points, Inter 10, and Barcelona 4. Yeah, it's pretty strange to see Barcelona has lost 3 of their 5 games. They've drawn 1, they won 1. And Plzen is still 0, but then we didn't expect Barcelona to be out, but then this was supposed to be a tough group as well with Inter there, and then them kind of sustaining the onslaught. So interesting to see Barcelona going down to Europa, and then and Bayern kind of progressing. It'll be very interesting. Bayern is never kind of out in the group stage. They've always kind of been to the top 8, and that's where they kind of stumble last season as well. But let's see how they progress this season. They've been again with Nagelsmann. They've been trying to find their rhythm, and Mane. Of course, they've not been scoring a lot of goals in Bundesliga, but then with Champions League, they always are kind of up to better scoring goals and progressing. Let me know your thoughts in this video about Barcelona. How do you think? Do you feel Xavi needs it? They need more players, or do you feel they've still not found their rhythm with so many new players coming into the squad? And what happens with now Sergio Busquets, whose contract is up by end of the year? This is the last that we have seen of Sergio Busquets in the Champions League in a Barcelona shirt. Or do you feel that he will have a renewed contract? Which is going to be pretty interesting to see. There are a lot of renewals as well for Barcelona, for other players as well. But then Sergio Busquets is one of those kind of the towering figures in the midfield that has always stayed, and the team has kind of played around him. Let me know your thoughts. Do like this video, do share, and do subscribe, and see you in the next one.